I was reading the book of Luke today in chapter 7, and it talks about John the Baptist, and it said some interesting things about him. And I was just thinking about who John the Baptist is. You know, he was just a rock solid guy. He was so confident in his faith. He didn't have arrogance. You know, he didn't have pride get in the way. He paved the way for Jesus and told everybody about Jesus. He knew who Jesus was. He told everybody else who he was. But then when things got tough, when John got thrown in jail, he starts to doubt and get frustrated because of where he was. And so he sends messengers to Jesus in Luke 7 and verse 20. And he tells his messengers, he says, go to Jesus and ask him if he's the one who is to come or if we're to look for someone else. And I thought, wow, really, John? Really? You're the one paving the way, and here you're wondering, is he the one? You know he's the one. And Jesus is so patient. And so when these guys are coming and asking him, Jesus is in the middle of healing people and giving the blind their sight and helping the lame to walk and cleansing the lepers and helping the deaf to hear and raising the dead and all this stuff. And so he tells John's messengers, you need to go back and tell John what you've heard and what you've seen. You know, give him that confidence. Yes, he's the one. You know he's the one. And tell him what you have seen. And I thought that was so gracious. That was so merciful for Jesus to tell his messengers that, to give him that word, to go back to the jail and tell John that. And before Jesus sends John's messengers back to him, he has a word for him. Verse 23, blessed is he who does not take offense in me and who is not hurt or resentful or annoyed or repelled or made to stumble. How amazing that he tells us that. You know, when we get all upset and we think, Lord, you're doing all this work for everybody else. Why don't you work for me? Why don't you help me? And Jesus is saying, you know what? If you don't get resentful and annoyed and upset about things, you're blessed. You're blessed because your faith is strong and you know, no matter what's going on, Jesus may be working in other people's lives while maybe we're just stuck in our jail cell, right? But we stay faithful, and our faith is not dependent on what he does for us, right? I mean, that's like Daniel's 3 friends going to the fiery furnace. They said, God's able to do whatever he wants to do, and we stand behind him. But even if he does not deliver us, we will still be faithful, right? And that's what Jesus is saying. Blessed are you when you stay faithful no matter what. You don't get upset, right? But he didn't condemn John, because after John's messengers leave, he defends John and builds him up in verses 24 through 27, telling the people who John is. That's amazing. God is so patient with us when we struggle to understand and process how he works and who he is. He responds with compassion, with grace, with mercy. He's so patient. We do not deserve it.